Hey everyone, welcome to second episode of Turkey's Hidden Files. Today we are unpacking one of the strangest, most controversial events in modern Turkish politics. An episode that feels like it came straight out of a conspiracy thriller. We have all seen it before actually. Corrupt politicians lying to protect themselves for staying in power. But this one was different. What you are about to hear is on another level. This was one of the biggest lies in Turkish political history. But first, let me set the scene. Istanbul, June 2013. A city under constant surveillance, crawling with police, bristling with security cameras. Suddenly, a group of 70 to 80 people appears. They were shirtless, wearing leather pants and bandanas. Men and women together. No one knows where they came from. They attacked a woman in a headscarf pushing a baby stroller. They drag along the pavement. Some of them urinate on her. They throw her baby to the ground. She later regains consciousness, finds her child a few meters away, and walks home in shock. Sounds horrific, right? Guess who told this story? Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan in the Turkish parliament on live television. He said, by the way, I was there at that time. He said, "We have the footage. We will release it on Friday." That was in 2013. It's now 2025. 12 years later, there is still no footage. Not a second, not a frame. There is no police reports, no eyewitnesses, no surveillance video. So, who were these mysterious leather-clad attackers? Aliens? Time travelers? Phantom ninjas? But to understand the mystery, we need to start with something very real. So, what was the Gezi Park protests? Let me explain. June 2013, in the heart of Istanbul, Gezi Park, a rare patch of green in city drawing in concrete. For years, Istanbul had become shaped by the urban vision of Erdoğan and his allies. They governed the city between 1994 and 2019. Their legacy, mega projects, highway, high rises, and very little green spaces. Then came to spark. Plans to demolish Gezi Park and build a shopping mall. That meant cutting down century-old trees, one of the last green space near Taksim Square. Environmentalists resisted. They set up tents and began a peaceful sit-in to stop the destruction. But instead of dialogue, the police respond with brutal force. Tear gas, water cannons, night raids. The image of violence shocked the public. Thousands poured into the street, not just in Istanbul, but across the entire country. The protest quickly escalated into something much bigger. What began as a small environmental action became the largest civil resistance movement in modern Turkish history. End of the protest, 8 people were killed, over 8,000 were detained. Erdoğan's government branded the protests a coup attempt. But the movement wasn't just about trees anymore. It was about people demanding dignity, the right to protest, and the right to be heard. People camped in the park. Artists performed. Citizens debate politics in open forums. There was a real sense of collective awakening. It felt, for a moment, like a Turkish version of Arab Spring. But Erdoğan saw a threat. He ordered the park cleared by force. Police burned tents, beat protesters. Then came the real crackdown, a wave of authoritarianism and flood of lies. New laws gave police sweeping powers. Protesters were criminalized, and Erdoğan began using a deeply polarizing rhetoric: us and them. That moment marked a turning point in Turkish politics. It deepened social division, and it set the stage for what was to come. 12 years on, the Gezi Park protests are still at the center of Turkish politics life. Osman Kavala, a key figure in the movement, is still behind the bars. despite the clear ruling of the European Court of Human Rights. The government continues to criminalize the movement, jailing activists, lawyers, even artists accused of inciting rebellion. The protest became a symbol of defiance, but also a pretext for repression. And the narrative became more and more conspiratorial. Amid the chaos, Erdoğan made some extraordinary statements. He kept pouring fuel on the fire. Here are 5 of the most infamous. I'm sure you have never heard this kind of things before. First, they drank alcohol in a mosque. He accused protesters of desecrating a mosque. Consuming alcohol is forbidden for Muslims. But the Imam said it never happened. Erdoğan fired Imam. Surveillance footage later confirmed that Imam was telling the truth. Second one, I am barely holding back 50% of the population. He warned, if I unleash them, things will be different. A threat of civil war, dividing the country in half. Third one, they are just looters. He called protesters çapulcu, looters in Turkish. But the term backfired. Activists own it. Everywhere in Taksim, everywhere is resistant. Became the anthem for defiance. People were wearing t-shirts with çapulcuyuz. We are looters. Fourth one. We will build that barracks no matter what. We will build that barracks no matter what. Despite the mass opposition, Erdoğan insisted. We will build that Topçu barracks in Taksim. Topçu barracks is a kind of shopping mall. Democracy be damned. 5. I gave the order. He praised the undemocratic police crackdown, saying, I gave the order myself. Later, leaks confirmed. Indeed, he himself told the interior minister to crack down hard. Fast forward to December 2013. A massive corruption investigative shakes the Turkish government. Leak audio recordings reveal that Erdoğan personally ordered Interior Minister Muammer Güler to respond to Gezi protests with extreme force. Meanwhile, the President Abdullah Gül and AKP heavyweight Bülent Arınç publicly urged restraint. They called for dialogues, not violence. But Erdoğan did the opposite. He doubled down, saying these events are orchestrated by the interest lobby, foreign media and international intelligence networks. We know exactly who is behind this. In the following months, this accusation expanded. Foreign powers, Jewish lobbies, Soros supporters. But not a single shred of evidence was ever provided. And became the most outrageous statement of all the so-called Kabataş incident. On June 7, 2013, Erdoğan said, the daughter-in-law of a relative of mine was attacked near Kabataş. A few days later, pro-government media ran with the headline, AKP mayor's daughter-in-law assaulted by Gezi protesters. Zehra Develioğlu, the woman in question, described being attacked by 7 to 100 half-naked leather-wearing men. She said that they cursed at her, hit her, urinate on her, and throw her baby to ground. She allegedly fainted and woke up to find her child several meters away. The story dominated headlines for days. It was meant to trigger national outrage. But any kind of evidence? No, nothing. No footage, not a single witness, no evidence, and this was in one of the busiest, most surveillance areas of Istanbul. What really happened? What happened next was something rarely seen in world history, not just in Turkish. All pro-government newspapers and their columnists ran with the same headline on the same day. Copy-paste headlines, a fully coordinated narrative, and Erdoğan's baseless claim was broadcast to the nation. Even some of the pro-government journalists claimed that saw the footage. None of them broadcast it. Even prosecutors dropped the case because there was no case to investigate. It was all fabricated. Why such a statement? Why did Erdoğan do it? Simple, because fear works, because outrage mobilize, because in polarized politics, the truth often matters less than the narrative. Erdogan understood that a fabricated assault on a veiled woman would stir deep emotion, especially among his conservative base. It painted the protesters as immoral, violent, and anti-religious. It justified the crackdown. It turned Gezi, form of peaceful movement, into so-called threat against national values. Most of all, it shifted the conversation. No longer about trees, no longer riots or police violence. Now it was about protecting faith, fighting disrespect, and defending our way of life. It was political theater crafted to distract, divide, and dominate. In many ways, it worked. Erdogan's Kabataş statement is one of the clearest examples of how political power, media, and propaganda can create entirely fictional event and get away with it. Now, let me ask $1 million question. Here is what I want to ask you. How can a mob of 70, 80 attackers, half naked, in leather, carry out an assault in downtown Istanbul with zero trace? Were they ghosts, or was it all political hallucination? Let us know what you think in the comments. I am Adem Yavuz Arslan. This is Turkey's Hidden Files. See you next time.